Welcome, Pastor Emillie Binja.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to have a conversation with you. The purpose of this conversation is introducing you to people who are leaders in the Oregon Synod and would like to know who's the new pastor in Creator Lutheran, even though it's almost more than a year now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good to have this type of conversation. Takes time for people to know each other. There are many congregations, ministry projects, but I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here too.
Yeah. So I'm curious to start this conversation. Just asking you why you accept the call from Creator Lutheran.
Yeah.
Why you feel moved about it?
Yeah, I was sent the MSP for Creator, and as I was reading through it, the two things that jumped out at me were the sad realization that Creator had lost its pastor right before COVID began.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I read more, I realized that they had built this relationship, new relationships, even after their pastor had passed. They had managed to build these new relationships with the communities around them. One of the communities two of the communities that were intriguing for me were a veterans village that's not too far away from our church, and the madres, which is a Hispanic group of mothers that needed support especially during COVID. And we all know how that time was, especially for Hispanic people during the presidency that was around in 2020. So they built these beautiful relationships with those two communities that spoke to my heart so deeply.
Oh, I'm so glad because yeah, we are as leaders, we want to be in a community that is raising their gaze to other people around and not just like an island. Nobody wants to go into an island. So
Yeah.
we are leaders, we want to engage with others. So that's beautiful to know that one of the motivations was the relationships they had already built. Um, at the same time, when a congregation or a group of people um, engage with others, I have seen this type of relation is sometimes is unidirectional, like
The
people say we
one-way
are
street.
helping these people, we are supporting these people, we are feeding this group of people. So in some sense, where is the space in which there's inspiration from the other people, right? And I remember you told me about being in a conversation with one of the madres in after was a day retreat or
Yeah, it was
something.
a high school. We had a middle school hiking day.
Yes, and so what happened? How these new relationships that the congregation is building out of the members of the congregation or engaging others, let's say that. Uh, what inspired you about that conversation with this woman, one of the
Yeah.
mothers?
Yeah. First, I want to preface by saying we're a community that is also ongoing work. We're doing ongoing work
Yes,
unlearning some of that one street direction kind of serving and realizing how we're being served. So we're still learning what
of
that really
course.
means and looks like. Um, and the reason that conversation jumped out for me, which only happened honestly just a few days ago, was because we had been on this we walked, it was almost halfway through the day, we were on our way back, we had been talking and I'd seen this beautiful tree, and suddenly me and one of the madres, we kind of lagged behind and we got in a conversation, and I have zero Hispanic language in my brain except for like I can say hello. And her English is good, but it's not like we can have like a full-blown conversation. So we were only speaking very short sentences and kind of stopping. And then I said to her how I really enjoy being outside And she said exactly the same thing. She's like, oh, I love when I'm outside a lot because I just feel so alive and at ease and calm. And it reflected everything that I feel. And I said, I wish I did it more. And she said, me too, but I'm afraid to be outside. And I said, me too. And in that moment, both of us, two women who can't really speak each other's languages that well, were able to connect about something that is so deeply hurting in many ways, but also so deeply human. And in that moment, I was just reminded how much I am being served by not only the creation around us, but also by the gift of just being in relationship with her and feeling my own fears being echoed in our small conversation. So I really,
Oh,
really like that, and I take that and I hope other people are able to engage in these kinds of relationships to kind of see how much we are alike and how much we long for the same things, and how healing it is to hear someone else say, I'm kind of scared to go hiking by myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're highlighting something very important right now. New relationships could be mirror of our, let's say, mm, how do you say this, layers of vulnerability that are denied by ourselves, or maybe we get accustomed to. Like, for example, we
Mm-hmm.
don't go walking because we are afraid, but we have normalized that fear, and we need somebody name it. And then I realize, yeah, I had that fear. That's what I don't go alone, or that's
Right.
what I don't go to some places alone as a Latino.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go with others because I'm afraid. So I'm glad that these new relationships, that's what happened with congregation, when new relationships can be mirror of hidden things about us. And so I'm glad that you are naming this
Yeah.
experience from you. So be very inspired. And I totally understand, learning to be in mutuality with others takes time. It's a journey of learning, deconstructing sometimes that we are
Mm-hmm.
superior than others, and we
Yes.
always have resource to give. Yes, but at the same time, how others can mirror things that we cannot see, or,
Yeah.
or learn from others, walk with
Yeah.
others. Thank you.
Yeah, it is such a powerful thing. You know, I think for me, I'm always reminded that, you know, Jesus sought out relationships with the apostles. He could have done his ministry by himself, right?
Oh, yeah.
He like half of the time the disciples were just doubting what he's saying. And so he could have done the whole ministry by himself, and yet he chose to leave it out in community because he was getting served. I truly believe he was getting served by the relationships and the friendships. When he went up to the mountain to pray,
Mm-hmm.
he could have gone by himself, but
Yeah.
he needed his friends, his companions to
Yeah.
be alongside him. And, you know, as Christians, we believe that Jesus is God, and yet God needed
Mm-hmm.
friends
Mm-hmm.
when he was going through one of the most difficult times of his life.
Yeah.
Because I think as human beings, God created us to just long for those friendships and relationships, even with people that sometimes we think, you know, maybe it's a one-way street. I'm serving and I'm doing. And I think slowing down enough to say, how am I also receiving from this relationship, I think is really
Yes.
important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like the word inspiring, no? Being inspired by, because it's the word spirit.
Mhm.
So people has the spirit to inspire us, or the spirit inspired us through people.
Mhm.
And I think Jesus was inspired by also through people, because the divine presence is in all of us. And so that's
Yeah.
very beautiful. I like to think about Jesus was inspired, and we can be inspired too, right? So it's the
Yeah.
presence of the spirit in all of us and
I
moving
love
us.
that.
Yeah. And the one thing that what would you like to bless to other leaders in the synod? Something that a memory, something that you remember as a value for you, something that inspired you that you would like to give to other people in the synod,
Yeah.
leaders. Yes.
Yeah. Um, I'm reading right now a book, and the book has a chapter called Belonging that I've been borrowing from a lot in my meetings. And maybe this is also part of the work because part of the work that's happening at Creator has a lot to do with belonging. What does that mean? And in the book, Cole says something. I'll read it here because I don't want to try and paraphrase it. And she says, for you, I want a belonging. I want friendship, romance, and family. I want a community that will not destroy you. I want a belonging that isn't always at risk, that isn't always threatened. And then it continues to say, to be known is not frivolous, it is survival. And you will not survive by self-care and self-love alone.
We
I
receive that
find
blessing.
it is such a beautiful blessing to hear those words. We're not meant to walk in this life alone. In fact, there's a saying from Uganda where I spent most of my childhood that says abatambula ababiri bagenda wala, which means those who walk together go very far. So my hope and prayer and blessing for you as we go into this work of ministry is that you find your people, that you find the people who will know you and walk with you and walk alongside you and hold you without any conditions held. So that is.
Thank you, Pastor Emillie Binja. And yeah, sin odos means walking together. So you are bringing a memory from Uganda that can shed light upon also this notion of walking together. Yeah, walking. We don't want to walk alone. And now that also you remind me, like I from Peru and I have Quechua roots, Quechua, Runasimi, Quechua, and I can say Kangmanta Kusikuni. That means you are. It's very difficult to translate, but you are the source of my joy in this through this conversation. Thank you so much. I hope people can see and who is in Creator Lutheran in Clackamas County, Oregon, Pastor Emillie Binja. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Juan.